So, thank you very much for your presence, because it's important that the European movement, the federalist movement, shows that its strength, its proposals during this conference, because it's a conference that will give the possibility to revisit and change the European Union. That's the purpose of the conference. It's an initiative, as you know, of all institutions. That's also a novelty, because normally the institutions don't do that, working together to prepare a conference. There is the novelty of the involvement of citizens. Citizens at this moment where we are talking here are voting on more than 40 recommendations in Fiesole, in the European University Institute. More than 40 recommendations on European democracy and on the values and the rule of law in the European Union. And as we know, that's a big problem with Poland and with Hungary. And so what we expect is that these recommendations are courageous, ambitious, more courageous and more ambitious than when they are formulated by ordinary politicians, I should say. And that it creates a pressure towards the Council, the Parliament, the Commission, the national parliaments to go in the direction of a more federalist organization of the Union. And that means the end of unanimity. Obviously, that's maybe the biggest problem today, hurdle today in the European Union. When we talk about defense, when we talk about foreign policy, when we talk about taxation, when we talk about migration, every time it is the unanimity rule who blocks a solution. And that will be certainly on the table, like there will be on the table also the idea of transnational lists, because how to make a real European democracy or European elections or still national elections in national constituencies with national candidates supported by national parties. So a real European election, we don't have it in fact, and transnational list could be a way to break that through and to have real European a European constituency and European elections in the future. All this will be on the table, and next year will be a tough year, because then we need more or less before May, June, to formulate with the three institutions and the national parliaments a response to these recommendations of citizens. And what is interesting is that the citizens participants will continue to participate in the exercise. So it's not a listening exercise. They come in, they tell what they want, they go out, and we do the opposite. That's possible in politics. No, what will happen is that they do their recommendations now. They vote on it, they present it, and then they stay in this plenary to see how the politicians who are representing European Parliament, national parliaments, Commission, and Council are responding to that recommendation, so that they can say, yeah, look, that's not what we want. There's not a real, for example, abolition of unanimity, or that's, and so on and so on. So there will be a huge, how to say, at a certain moment, tension between what citizens want on the one hand and what, for example, member states are ready to do, and what our expectation is, and that's the big difference with the convention of so many years ago, is that the pressure created by these citizens will oblige member states to go into a direction that they never wanted to go into. Because it's difficult for a country to say, oh, it's my citizens who want that, but I don't want it. So until now, the battle was always between a parliament with elected MEPs and the council, where you have the prime ministers and the ministers of the member states. Well, the battle will change a little bit, because it will be a battle between member states who are reluctant to go into the right direction and their own citizens who want to do that. And one of the recommendations apparently will also be to make this exercise permanent, to do every 5 years, for example. 5 years is the period between two elections. So every 5 years such an exercise, so that by the midterm, I should say, of a 5-year period, the citizens of Europe, overall Europe, have the possibility to intervene and to tell what they want. Finally, it will be a conference on policies and on institutions. I know there is a big battle on it, and there are many people who are saying, yeah, but the citizens are not interested in institutions. But that's naturally a wrong vision, because you need good institutions to get good policies. If you have bad institutions, what you have is you produce bad policies. And both are interlinked. So the question of unanimity or transnational list, of the problem of Sofagate, to give another small example of our problems, that is directly linked to a good migration policy.
La dimostrazione che come federalisti volevamo dare per portare la conferenza nelle strade, verso i cittadini. Questo è il momento in cui l'Europa sta discutendo davvero il proprio futuro di fronte a sfide che mettono in discussione profondamente il suo attuale assetto. È un momento di grandi cambiamenti e anche l'Unione Europea si sta interrogando come affrontarli. E quindi è il momento di mettere in campo le proposte per l'Europa federale che da tanto tempo noi portiamo avanti e che adesso hanno la possibilità di essere effettivamente raccolte, sono discusse in questo momento all'interno della conferenza. La nostra presenza anche nella conferenza permette comunque di portare questa voce radicale, come ci ricordava Guy Verhofstadt, in questo dibattito. E il nostro presidio oggi è ricordare tutto questo, quindi grazie a tutti e ancora anch'io ripeto, Federazione Europea subito!
We live in, the problems we are facing in this year. And when it comes to that problem, these are the things that are close to the citizens. So the citizens understand if the European Union is able or is not able to answer to the rise of unemployment, to answer to the lack of European public goods, to the difficulties we have facing the global challenges we live through. That's why it's important that when we talk about institutional reform, when we talk about the future of Europe, we talk about how to give to the European Union the instrument, the power to solve problems. That's what people are asking from all over Europe. People who are involved in the conference and people who are still not involved in the conference, because we share the same problems there. That's why we always said as federalists that we need a Europe that's able to invest. We need a Europe that's able to ensure European citizens those public goods that represent the European model in the world. There is a clash of models globally. There's the Chinese model, the United States model, and there's the European model. And the European model means that you can have access to instruction, you can have access to health system, you can have a social system that helps you all the way. And we need to protect that. And to protect that, we need the European Union. We need also to act urgently on climate, to fight climate change. We need to act when it comes to digital matters, when it comes to digital transition and all the topics linked to that. And we need to, I repeat, have the resource to invest on that. We need the European Union to have the fiscal capacity to get resources, to get enough money to invest on the future, on its citizens. That's what the European people want. That's what the European people need. We said it also yesterday at the event organized by the Socialists and Democrats. The parliaments existed in the past because they had to decide about how many taxes they have to apply in order to give the governments the possibility to act. Now, and the American Revolution started because it was not taxation without representation. Now we have representation in the European Parliament, but we don't have taxation. And this is not a good thing, because we don't have taxation means that we don't have the possibility to ensure citizens those European public goods. So this is a thing we need to address constantly. When we talk about democracy, we talk about the possibility of the European Union to act concretely in the interest of its own citizens. We need to speak out loud about that. We as Federalists have always done it. We'll keep doing it all over Europe, in the conference and also beyond the conference, because we need to open a constitutional process. We need to get to a radical reform of the European Union. We need to get to a European Federation. Thank you very much.
Quindi grazie anche a tutti gli esponenti locali e nazionali delle associazioni che ci hanno raggiunto e dei partiti che ci hanno raggiunto e a cui poi lasceremo un piccolo spazio per un saluto, quindi grazie. L'idea non è che questo è un punto di arrivo, ovviamente, questo è un punto di partenza per anche nel locale portare il dibattito sul futuro dell'Europa, non solo a livello di azione sulla piattaforma digitale che la Conferenza sul futuro dell'Europa ci mette a disposizione, ma anche e soprattutto a livello cittadino, a livello proprio di coinvolgimento della cittadinanza e delle istituzioni. Quindi chi meglio della società civile organizzata, insomma, per fare questo. Noi federalisti ci siamo sempre stati per mettere un po' insieme le nostre esigenze e le nostre priorità. Noi come tema del flash mob abbiamo scelto un titolo emblematico, Back to the Future, perché Back to the Future richiamava un po' il film, come sapete, Ritorno al futuro, ma perché in realtà il ritorno a cui dobbiamo tornare è quello che vedete scritto sulle panchine, il futuro che si immaginavano i padri fondatori dell'Europa. Una federazione europea era scritta 80 anni fa nel manifesto di Ventotene: l'Europa libera e unita può essere solo se è un'Europa federale. Questo dobbiamo dirlo chiaro, non è un tabù per nessuno ormai, e quindi dobbiamo essere assolutamente orientati a questo, essere più radicali nel chiedere questo, perché persone di ben altra statura che hanno fatto l'Europa davvero ci guardano e dobbiamo essere all'altezza di quell'eredità lì. Quindi questo è il motivo del flash mob, questo è il motivo per cui appunto ci sarà questo anche flash mob fisico strutturato, e quindi io vi ringrazio e niente, ci sarà modo poi di salutarci. Grazie ancora.